What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, and today I wanted to take a deep dive into the Monarch Eldlich strategy. And someone asked me in my deck profile I did recently, is this a real strategy? It sure is. I don't know how good it is, but this is a comprehensive, everything kind of gels together thing. If you like Monarch, this is probably the best way to display it for sure. So we'll just go ahead. These are mostly just going to be casual strategies and everything like that. This isn't something that you would want to take to a YCS, but so cool stuff, interaction right there, being able to send the Prime Monarch. Obviously, I just happen to have another one in my hand, and yes, I did destroy my hand size and everything like that. But I will have the Monarchs erupt online. They're one form of another. So basically through a bad hand, I was able to make something of it. And now that he's in this place, there's not much he's going to be able to do. He has a little bit of a funky tank here, an underclock taker, which I guess could be pretty decent for getting over some stuff. But here's Abyss Actors. I've tried to use Abyss Actors before because I like pendulum cards. I know it's like a cardinal sin. But I can't get it to work. But I did want to show you some crazy tech here. Cybernetic Magician, if you would believe that, it does fit the requirements for Magician Souls. And it also does for Tenacity of the Monarchs. It has 2100 attack and 1000 defense. How crazy. That's just proof how many Yu-Gi-Oh cards there are in existence, which is funny. So I didn't. This elixir's not online, but that's okay. I have so much to do this next turn. It's not like I'm worried because there's always stuff you can activate in the graveyard, and then I have a Pantheism. He had another Ash Blossom, which kind of sucks, but it's really not a big deal. The Scarlet can get banished or can go to the graveyard, and I do tribute summon my Eldlich with another Eldlich. I have a negate, I have the Golden Land Forever, and I'll be able to special summon this thing, my Eldlich, back. Or from the deck, I can grab a Erebus, which is nice because once it hits the graveyard, a lot of the times you can grab it back to your hand, which is cool. So it's like a pseudo searcher for Erebus if they get it off the field. Other than that, it's just a 2800 attack body. I did have the negate there, so he's not going to be able to do much right now. Or any more in this duel, I should say. And that should be enough for lethal for sure. I was able to clean up there pretty quickly. Here is another look at the Charmers. So I did not like the structure deck that much, that's for sure. He's using the new Pot of Disparity card, which I know is getting a lot of attention. I still haven't found a place, a home for it yet, I should say. In terms of, well, my decks aside, I'm just trying to say, just in general, I haven't found a lot of decks that can really use it very well. But I'm sure that'll come along as time goes. Honestly, Skill Drain it doesn't do that much for it. You'll see there I chose to get rid of his Unpossessed before I did the Skill Drain because I'm not really affected too much. Well, Eldlich for sure isn't affected. It is nothing for it. I lock him out of the extra deck, and then I'm going to have my own Skill Drain, so that's how much it really doesn't matter to me. So it's really just kind of the battle of the control decks, and I would say for sure that I have the advantage. My support is much better. Especially when I have cards like Conquistador and Hakero, it will come in handy. Cool thing about Hakero is obviously it lets you banish any card, and that becomes relevant against Possessed because they like to replenish their trap cards back to their field. And I can go ahead and get rid of this. I think I'll probably get rid of his trap because he doesn't have the attack to get over it anyways. Drew a Golden Land Forever. That's really nice. So yeah, he tries to recycle that trap again, but now he can't. He does have the Torrential Tribute, but like I just said, I did get this, and I'm going to go ahead and use it now. And he goes to battle. I think once again he realizes he's 50 attack points short. So I think that's a huge problem with Charmer, is that they're not able to get over attack barriers very well. Here is Egyptian God, so I doubt that I'll be putting 3 monsters on the field, so that's pretty much a dead card. Do have to be careful though, because he does have that Fist of Fate. I'm assuming this guy's also running like a pure version. That's cool. That was a good piece of tech that he has there, but this isn't a real strategy. He has the Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. So that was really good to get rid of that, because otherwise if it stays on the field and I can't get over it, he's just going to convert it into an Egyptian God Slime, which is obviously very bad for me. Could have been the end of the duel. I have a negate, so honestly Egyptian Gods technically isn't the best matchup because they'll be Tribute Summoning too, but if I can stop that, I'll feel okay about it. And I definitely want to... I know how good Guardian Slime in terms of that. He did end up having the Ancient Chant, but that's okay. Because now that this is negated, it doesn't count as 3 tributes, and now he has no way to Tribute Summon. I think he thought he could, but no, it's negated. And this the Monarch's Erupt effect does count until the end of my turn, so if he gets rid of it... If he gets rid of my Tribute Summon monster, I still have my entire turn left to get a Tribute Summon monster back on and keep the trap online. In this case, I use Caius. I'm going to go ahead and banish his Egyptian God Slime, and that's plenty for game. Alright. Here's Evil Eye, or it's Evil Eye. It's Evil Twins and... Oh, Evil Eye, yeah. It was like a mixture of the two. I think this is a match. He also has, obviously, like Dogmatica stuff in here too. So normally this is really tough, and a card like Maximus can be game-changing, but you can't activate the effect because I don't have any cards in my extra deck, so it has a particularly good matchup against Dogmatica. The whole special summoning thing more than once does nothing to it, so to draw all 3 of these really stinks. And it looks like I'm hoping that he doesn't have an Ash Blossom or something like that, but of course he has the Infinite Impermanence. But that's okay, I only need 1 of these, and I'm able to make some sort of recovery here. And again, these aren't problems at all. They don't have enough, this doesn't have enough attack or defense, and I'm able to get to 3,500 as you guys can see here. So I have plenty of outs for all these cards. I have other things too on the Monarch side that can help me get rid of cards like that. It's just so great that everything is so accessible, so you have a higher chance of drawing your Monarch stuff, and which just helps with the strategy overall. That's the Ash Blossom, but I'm like, I need this to go through. It's so annoying. And luckily it does, and it does make a big difference at the end here. I was able to just go for game quite easily. So that was the Evil Eye stuff, but he also has the, what are they calling these? I thought these were evil, yeah, Evil Twins, I was right. Which is kind of like the Link version of Zodiac, but I don't think nearly as good. Although their Link 5, I think it is, lets you use one of your opponent's monsters. So that'll be a big deal when it comes out. That'll probably just be used as a tech card, honestly. So I basically opened perfectly here. I mean, I'm going to be able to just draw 1,000 cards. He has the Effect Veiler. That's fine. These Nibiru's are totally dead. I'll never summon that many times in a turn. He goes to pop my card. I still have other plays because I've progressed so far at this point. And getting rid of Evil Twins, like banishing-wise, is actually a big deal because they're able to recycle themselves very well, especially if they have the field spell on. So I'm going to have a negate and a pop during his turn live. So I go ahead and go early on that. I'm assuming he's going to go for, yep, the Evil Eye of Selene, in which case I can negate, which is very important to do. And any other problem cards I'll just be able to get rid of quite easily. Well, as long as I can get my Eldlich next turn, but it's in the graveyard, so at the very least I just have to play one of these and I'll be okay. I have 2 conquistadors now, which can end up being very important. It looks like since I had the extra conquistador, I should have probably played one of these and just had it on for next turn. No big deal though. So now you can't go into the extra deck. I'm going to be able to pop his Evil Eye and basically just kind of break down his strategy overall. It's fine I wasn't able to get over his Link Evil Eye monster. All I have to do is recycle one of my other Eldliches, which I have access to in a lot of different ways. Well, there you go right there. Everyone seems to have hand traps against me when I play this deck, but for the most part, you're able to fight through it. And I know Upstart Goblin seems like a pretty garbage piece of tech, but it does seem to, it has helped me a lot during these duels. I think it comes in clutch quite a bit. And I was able to go for game. So that was like a little mini match for you between a casual strategy. Grand Maju, I can't think of a worse matchup for them, to be honest with you. In terms of just like special summoning, I don't really do it that much. Well, the Monarch's Erupt is just an absolute blowout card against Grand Maju. I'm not really even sure what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to have that Tribute Summon monster, and I have this in my hand for next turn in case I need to take control of something. I'm very concerned when he goes for Pot of Extravagance because I don't really know what that means. I was scared that it was going to be Mystic Mine, although I have no worries about Mystic Mine for the most part because I have too many cards to pop it, namely Conquistador. And it's not like it's not a monster effect, it's a trap effect. It being a monster is just a secondary type of thing. I'm going to start going after his back row. He goes to negate Eldlich, but okay. And now that he's here, I mean, it doesn't matter how many Grand Majus he has in his hands or Inspector Border. They're all going to be negated. Here is Infernities. And I have no... Going into this, I had no idea, or I guess when he started playing, I had no idea what... I don't even know what they do. So I'm sure this guy's using all the new support and stuff, so we'll see. There's a few Infernity cards on the ban list, which I'm curious to know if they'll come off the ban list. I don't know when that set's coming out or even what the set's called, but we'll have to see. So he's going to be starting with one less card, obviously. And he just goes for some defense here. It does, you technically are going -1, but a lot of times whatever spell or trap you're sending with Eldlich is able to recur a lot of resources. And now I have a full board here. I smartly send Cursed Eldlin with my Eldlich card because that's obviously going to help me dump one of these to the graveyard and get another card later on. I know I'm not dominating this duel because all Infernity cards, like the whole archetype is you not having any cards in your hand. But he tried to revive one of his Infernity cards. I had the Banish. I still had a Negate. I still had a Conquistador. I don't think he would have had much of a chance to come back in that one for sure. And it looks like I'm playing Plunder Patrol. I don't see this deck a lot, which is funny. I think it's a high IQ brain type of thing. So he has the Negate. We'll see what I can do about it. He goes to take it as early as humanly possible. You'd think he'd wait if he only has one Negate on the board. But maybe he has some crazy stuff going on. Well, yeah, I know one of them is Cursed Eldlin. He has the Ash, of course. Just like everybody does in their hand when I try to use the effect of Magician Souls. But still, I do have the one Negate, which ends up being a big deal. And I have 3 Monarchs Erupt in my deck. So obviously I'm going to give him 3 of them. So it's not random at all. And I would say that there's no outs in Plunder Patrol. At least naturally he's going to have to draw into something. Because he's not able to go into the extra deck, and I don't think any of the main deck monsters have some form of removal. It's about copying and, cheating cards out of the extra deck. Here is Thunder Dragon. Thunder Dragon's another deck that I would be curious at some point in time to do. See, now if I had put in that Magician card that I was telling you guys about earlier in the video, I could have searched and actually had a much better play going first. Although I want to say in this deck, it ends up making a huge difference because I think I Tribute Summon using it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get any sort of advantage off of The Monarchs Erupt because I just had an extra in my hand, so I decided to go that way. So the idea is that you have a monster negate now. Maybe it'll come in handy. Although if they are able to get rid of it, you know, it does go to the extra deck and all of your Monarch stuff is turned off. But it can be very relevant here. I am going to get the search, and I'll probably go for the domain lock. That helps me search the Golden Land Forever for next turn. And now I have a spell counter on it, so if he does have anything troublesome, I'm going to be able to get rid of it. So this has always been the idea. So the spell card gives me more counters. Not that it's a huge deal. I don't have to worry about negating that, but I do have to negate that because it's not on the field, and which I do, and he still doesn't have enough attack to get over it, even though all they're reduced. So I guess it really, when you're playing the deck, it comes down to your kind of personal preference or how risky you want to be. It's an interesting argument. It's kind of like the biggest piece of contention. And also a lot of people have asked me about siding, and I know it doesn't seem like there's any room to side in this deck, but what I would recommend, and what I said in the comments too, is you get rid of all the Monarch stuff. You side all 15 of your Monarch cards out, and you just go full control or full whatever. I'll probably do some experimenting with that as well, in terms of what I think the other engine could be. Unfortunately, you only have 15 cards, so you're not going to be able to side in 15 to make it a combo variant. But there's definitely other things like Summon Limit, and There Can Be Only One. Those are definite power cards that could help you out. And maybe like just straight up going second cards, like evenly matched, something like that. So here's the new Time Thief card. He uses all the effects and take control of my Eldlich monster. But I don't think it's a huge deal. Dragon, you know, love this card. Dragonoid Generator is always going to help me tribute summon. And since I did tribute summon using Erebus, I got 2 pops on the card. This is such a good piece of tech, to be honest with you. It seems to just work out whenever you need it. Go ahead and negate that. I don't know what he has last, so I guess I'm taking a big risk, but still, that was a pretty powerful card. And all of them are going to search at the end. I'm still going to have the Monarchs Erupt online, which is great. And as we all know, that sometimes Monarchs can just blow your opponent out of the water, like more than any other deck can. Well, I guess if they had Dogmatica, that would be pretty bad, but like I already said earlier, they have a pretty good matchup against Dogmatica. I blew all my resources, but okay, you're domain locked and you can't special summon. What are you going to do? Beat me. Go ahead. Even if they have Dark Rule no more, let's say they still have no access to the extra deck, because they still control it. So that's pretty good. And it's not like they can kaiju you, obviously, they can't special summon. And it's not like a restrictive special summoning, like, oh, they can't do wind monsters. Like, no, they can't just at all. Here is Monarch Eldlich versus, I don't know, but he's running Sangan, which is interesting. Where is he going with this? This looks like a needle fiber dot deck, which is so bizarre. But all these crazy combos and stuff are not going to be worth much if you have no access to the extra deck. Obviously. He goes for the Book of Moon, but none of it matters. Like, even if it is flipped down, it's still control it. So that's an interesting Yu-Gi-Oh rule that I think I brought up a few times. So it's not an out at all. It does nothing different. Here's Data Escape, so everybody has Ash Blossom, obviously. It never ends. Luckily, in this case, I did have the, what's it called? Pantheism, so. And I just go ahead. So you're only working with 4 cards now, and Data Escape doesn't have any outs for that, obviously. And this is the last duel for you guys. Once again, if I was running the Magician card, I would have been able to use it. So I think I would recommend using that Magician card for sure. Did put the spell counters on it, so I do have the monster negating in. Sky Strikers, I mean, that's okay. Rip. Ripperoni and cheese. So that was a very deep dive into the Eldlich strategy. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what kind of tech pieces you've been putting into the side deck. Those are all just my suggestions. And please enjoy, guys. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful night.